is up, guys? Today I wanted to do a little something different on the channel. The last couple of videos I have done have been ranking videos. Ranking Dread in Kingston, Jamaica. Yeah, okay, so the last couple of videos I have done have been ranking videos. Sorry, I got ADHD. I got a little excited. I had a little bit of espresso. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about focus. Today I want to talk about movies that I like to refer to as underrated bangers. These are movies that, underrated bangers are movies, the way I consider them is you go in completely blind. You don't have any preconceived notions about what they're going to be. You heard nothing about the movie. It's got to be zilch. It's got to be complete zero. You haven't seen a poster for it. You don't know the director. You don't know left from right, okay? You just put this movie on. Like, what I mean by an underrated banger is like, you ever watch a movie on a streaming service like Netflix or something, and then at the end of the movie, and this has to happen, a couple of things have to happen in order for this to have the right effect that I'm talking about here. It has to be like you started the first movie early enough that you have enough time to watch a second or even a third movie. And what'll happen is the streaming service will be like, hey, you're a loser. You live in your parents' basement. You have no girlfriend. Nothing good is ever going to happen to you. You have a bunch of time. You're unemployed. You're probably going to die without anybody knowing who you are. Would you like to watch this movie? Other losers that enjoyed this first movie enjoyed this one. So we think, that's the language that they use, we think that you might enjoy this because you're a loser. Put this movie on right now because you're a loser. You're never going to amount to anything because we think that you're going to like this movie. So put this on. Sometimes, and you're just sitting there and you're just like, how did you know? I live in my... How did you know, bro? You know what? SpongeBob the movie from 2004? Just put it on right now. You're right. I do have nothing going on. The Rainmaker? Francis Ford Coppola? Matt Damon looks very Rounders era. Put it on. Sure, why not? Now, because I'm like, a streaming service user sometimes. I don't know, I fade in and out. Sometimes I'll buy a month to a streaming service because there's something I want to see, and then I'll cancel it. Because as I said, my life is not going in a successful enough manner for me to be able to afford 12 months of Netflix. I don't know how I would recover financially from that decision. But 1 month here and there is not going to kill you. So, underrated bangers. These are movies that I just happened to put on one night, and it just blew me away. So the first one, coming in hot at number 1. This isn't ranked, so I don't know why I said... I just enjoy... Dust, okay? This is a movie... You ever read a synopsis of a movie and you're just like, yes. Drugs, heist, cars, men with mustaches, a guy who is down on his luck. The movie has blood in the title? Are you kidding me? Put that shit on right now. I don't even know why we're still making a decision. So, that's what happened to me. It was just a magical experience. I put this movie on. I wasn't expecting like too much, but when I saw this dude, Scoot McNairy is the homie, okay? Scoot McNairy, I believe he is one of our finest actors. If you've ever seen Killing Them Softly and you like it, we can be friends. Immediately, we can be friends. There's like two types of people. There's people that are either like, oh, I wanted more from that movie and blah, blah, blah. And then there's people that they love killing them softly. Me, I love killing them softly. Scoot McNairy, I believe this guy is one of our most underused actors. Speak No Evil last year was a great, great goddamn movie. And he gave a good performance in it as like just like a useless dumbass. That's his character. I'm not calling him that. And yeah, so okay, just I got too excited there. And so I put this movie on, Blood for Dust. It's just fun to say too, dude. Like when you're recommending a movie, Blood for Dust. Put that shit on. So halfway through the movie, another cool dude that I like, Ethan Suplee, just appears on the screen. All right, and Steven Dorff, who appears in a couple of B types of movies that are like they appeal to the guy, you know, in his parents' basement that will watch a movie because it has the word blood in the title. So right away, I put on this movie and I was like, cool, all these people are in it. This is great. And then Josh Lucas appears and he gives a great performance. This is the type of movie that I would say it's so enjoyable that you can't believe that you didn't hear about it before Netflix was like, how have you like watch this? You're a loser. Put this on. You're gonna like it. I can't believe that I didn't hear about it before I did, and I'm glad that it was recommended to me. You're gonna have a good time if you put this movie on. It just feels like a great, you know, the movie The Friends of Eddie Coyle. Also a great book. That novelist and Jackie Brown, author, Elmore Leonard. This is that type of vibe. That's why I'm saying I can't believe that this movie wasn't as well known as it currently is. Like, this is the type of movie that should have been in theaters, like, a lot. Like, this is, you know, if it was like 2007, 2008, 2005, when the economy was like, you know, when you had like something to look forward to and you thought life was going to get better. You know, when Wedding Crashers was out and you're like, ha ha ha, I love comedy. I love buddy comedies. I don't think about problems. This is the type of movie that would have been in theaters and you would have like texted. I don't think you would text in 2005. You would have gone on MSN Messenger and you would have been like, hey, typey, recommendee. Okay, I think I've exhausted the point here about this movie. Now, the funny thing about this is me doing this video is going to contradict the effect that I want you, the audience, to have, which is going in completely blind. But you know what? At the end of the day, there's no other way for me to raise attention to an underrated banger unless I, talk about it. So, it's a necessary evil here. So the second one, coming in hot at number 2. This is a film called Bring Them Down. All right? This is a movie that played at TIFF, the Toronto International Film Festival, last fall. But, unless you have $90 million or you have, some kind of insider access, you're not going to get a ticket to these events, all right? So I just wait for these movies to appear on whatever service that I use or, and I wait to watch it like a regular person. Film festivals are for idiots and losers and finance bros, okay? Film festivals, and I'm not talking about the small ones that are like, two people show up. I'm talking about the industry, corporate, consumer ones, like TIFF. And it pains me to say it, Toronto, it's my Canada, it's my home and native land. But TIFF is very elitist. You're not going to get a ticket to these events. So what I like to do is I just read about what's happening, and then I mark my calendar. Okay, 6 months from now, because I'm a regular guy, I'll be able to see this movie. And this movie was playing at theaters after TIFF, but it was only in theaters for like 2 weeks or something like that. And if you're a regular guy, you got to do regular things. I got to help to take care of my grandma. I have to go to Real Canadian Superstore to get my groceries and use my points. I have to I got to do a bunch of things, so I'm not going to make it. So one night, I happened to realize through some shady means that this website that this movie was available on a website. I cannot confirm or deny how I happened to access this film. Okay, I'm not gonna. So yeah, I downloaded it. No, I didn't download it. I paid money to Apple TV and Prime Video, which is the official resource for how you can. I downloaded a URL, a link. I put in my credit card, my MasterCard. I did the right things. I paid my taxes, and I watched Bring Them Down. So, Bring Them Down. Now, here's the thing. Now, here's the funny thing. This is instant karma for you. If you download a movie and you watch it, 9 times out of 10, the subtitles they're gonna have a problem. Okay? Unless you do the diligent work and you download the subtitles beforehand and you sync it up in the delightful manner that it's supposed to. Unless you do all the additional labor, you're going to have a problem. Such was the case for your friend and humble narrator, Mr. Larry Singleton here. So I put on this movie. Sorry, had to let out some steam. This is the air pockets from the morning breakfast coming out here. So I put on the movie and I didn't realize, it's not just like takes place in a setting. They're also weird and they speak in this weird Irish dialect. I didn't mean to use the word weird. That was a little what's that word for when you judge a culture by your own? What is that? Ethnocentric? I don't know. I can't remember what I learned in school. It's been too long. So, I didn't mean to call the Irish people language weird. But they do speak in in their own language. So you're watching it. I was watching it and I was like, okay, soon enough, they will switch back to English because I'm an English speaker and I'm a North American and it's all about me. But they don't do that. And anyway, I realized it, but I just kept going and I watched the movie. Now, what I would suggest to you is don't do that. Watch the movie with the correct subtitles if you don't speak weird Irish, as I haphazardly happen to call it in my irresponsible thing there. Sorry, I didn't mean to say weird. So, okay. Get the subtitles and watch this movie. Bring Them Down is okay. You know back in the day, I'm talking about the good old days. The good old days with the slavery. No, when Blockbuster was around, not slavery. I mean, some of those employees, they might probably think of it as slavery, but when Blockbuster was around, the thing I really used to enjoy about film culture, everyone always talks about, I really enjoyed going to a place and renting a movie and it was nice to have a physical experience and blah, blah, blah. That's true. But one thing that is missing is it used to be really nice that you could share a movie with someone. Like, let's say you buy a movie in 2004 or 5 on DVD, or you rent it, or whatever. Physically, you could give that movie to someone and be like, check this movie out. And now, because this person had this movie, and they had this friend in their lives, or in their life, I don't know why I said plural there, but because they had a person in their life that went to the trouble to give them a physical copy of a movie, and, you know, the movie, someone had vouched for the movie, they wouldn't put it on and then stop it 2 seconds later and be like, I'm just going to look for something else now because I'm tired of this movie 2 minutes in. They would give it a chance. And then what happens is a beautiful thing starts to happen when you give it a chance. 10 minutes in, you start to enjoy the world of the movie. It starts to, this guy, Stendhal, he talked about love. He talked about crystallization, his theory of love. I would extend that to when you watch a movie and you give it a chance. Something wonderful happens. There's some kind of chemical reaction in your brain where it's like it seeps through. The movie seeps through, and there's a bit of a crystallization that happens. And 10 minutes go by, 20 minutes go by, and the movie happens to you. In today's world, we are in control of the movie. In the past, it used to be the movie was in control of you. So anyway, that was a bit of a tangent, but bring them down. What I would say is this is the kind of movie, again, it should have been more well-known, should have been playing widely released. I loved it. It was great, dude. It felt like a solid B. It's like they took a B movie and they made it. Okay, I guess that would just be an A movie then. I don't know why I tried to compliment the movie, but seem smart at the same time. So that I came off. You know what? I would just say it's an A. I'm not gonna backhand compliment it and be like, oh, I'm too smart for, No, I wasn't too smart for this movie. I loved it. A. Cross the board. And you know what? Should I go back and reassess Blood for Dust? Blood for Dust, I would say, you know what? I will say that it was a solid B movie. I'm not going to say that's an A just because, I don't know, I don't want to spoil it. It just felt, Now, the third movie I'm going to discuss today, this one might make me look dumb. I'm not going to lie to you. It might make me look stupid. You ever have like a friend recommend a movie to you and you're listening to him and you're like, yep, I'll check that out. And you're not going to check it out because it just sounds... You probably don't respect this person's opinion, or they're just not selling it enough. I'm not going to lie to you. This movie is going to make me seem like the kind of guy that goes to Marvel movies on opening weekend, or like the kind of guy that watched Expendables, every single one of them, and that's his favorite franchise, This is going to make me seem like an idiot, even more than I already have presented myself to you. But just know, it's an underrated banger, so that may have influenced my decision by quite a bit. And I'm talking about coming in hot at number 3. I really enjoy saying that. I don't know why. It's so satisfying. The Tax Collector. A 2020 action thriller film. Now, I didn't watch this movie when it came out originally because in 2020, Some guy ate a bat and he sneezed on a taco and someone else ate it. And then that guy went to a flea market and he didn't wash his hands and whatever. The whole world became infected by the bat AIDS. Whatever. The vid. Our friend, Mr. COVID, he came to visit from Saudi Arabia. The COVID. COVID al-Najjar. Okay, so 2020, I was very busy with my life, and I suffered a psychological breakdown, as we all did. I had a divorce from my wife because we were tired of being in a lockdown together. The whole point of a marriage is that both parties involved are supposed to be at work for 8 hours a day, and you come home and you see your significant other for only 2 hours a night. Or you plop in front of the television and you put on Netflix, and then you both crash out. And it doesn't leave you enough time to realize that you don't like your significant other. But in 2020, none of us had that benefit. So we all had divorces. And we all got sick, and we all got injected. Okay, so anyway, I don't know why I said all that. So I was busy in 2020, so the tax collector was not on my radar. And here's a funny thing. See this dude on the poster? For some reason, I always thought this guy was Zac Efron. And I don't think I was ready. I don't think I wanted a movie with two egos like Zac Efron and Shia LaBeouf in the same movie. I thought that would have been too much. But then one night I already painted the picture. Underrated bangers. I had a bit of free time. I watched one movie that, it was short. And then the thing popped up and it was like, hey, because you're a dumbass and a loser, an idiot, blah, 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 we think people that are in your category of guy, they happen to watch The Tax Collector. But it wasn't just that. Another consumerist trick that these companies will do, it said, leaving soon. This picture, you if you don't watch it now, you're never going to be able to watch it. So I was like, oh, shit. This is a great deal. Amazon will do that. They'll be like, we have a real deal super steal event. 13 minutes, and it'll have the countdown, it'll have the timer, and you're just sitting there like, oh shit, maybe I should buy like 30 Xboxes. Hey babe, do we have space for 30 Xboxes? I think I'm going to order. Look, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. There's only 13 minutes on this real deal super steal event. So let me buy 300 Xboxes. Tell the kids they're not going to college. Tell your grandma we're kicking her out of that home because I need 300 Xboxes. Click. So, The Tax Collector. It was what I would describe as a real experience. Okay, this is what I would say. I prefaced it by telling you that it's the kind of movie that a dumb guy would like, and I stand by that. It's not a smart movie by any means, and it does a lot of stupid things, but the running time is 95 minutes. Okay, budget $4 million, box office $1.3 million. This movie is the kind of movie that I would not recommend to everyone because people are just going to think that you're stupid and they're not going to take your recommendation seriously afterward. But this movie appealed to the 14-year-old boy in me. I don't know how to put it to you any other way, but if this movie was playing at my local multiplex when I was 14 and I watched it, I would have been like over the moon about the tax collector for the next like 4 months of my life. Easily, easily. It's got violence. It's got Hispanic people. You know how at the top here it says, from the creator of Training Day, an end of watch, but I don't really remember that movie, and it's, not very liked. But Training Day, I will say, this felt like a stupid guy. It felt like a dumb person watched Training Day, and they were like, why don't I make a movie that is like inspired by that, and the writing is not as good, and it's got less famous actors. Shia LaBeouf is famous, but I mean, nobody knows who any of the other people are. But let me just try. Let me make an effort here. Let me just ignore the internet's negativity and let me make The Tax Collector. Now, you put this movie on, I won't lie to you. Like I said, it's got some really stupid things, but for some reason, it's got one of those things, it's got a bit of charm to it. The Stendhal thing, crystallization. Something happens where you put a movie on and you just leave it and you just lock in, and a delightful thing starts to happen where you're just like, I'm falling for this world right now. I believe that this would happen. Now, I will say that it does get over the top and it becomes a little much. But The Tax Collector is not a movie you need to watch more than once. But if it's a hot summer night and you want an underrated banger, put on The Tax Collector, bro. Put on... Okay, if you want a quick ranking, this is what I would do. Sorry about that. The Tax Collector, 3. Bring Them Down, 1. Blood for Dust, 2. Watch them. That's the order that I would say is in terms of quality. But, yeah, just go for it, dude. Underrated bangers. Now, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, give it a hoot and a holler and a toot and a give it a just give it a like or something, or write in the comment section below, I liked this video, clickety clackety, and I will proceed to make more videos about underrated bangers. Because the thing about them is, an underrated banger, what I like about them is that they don't make you... They don't ask for a lot, okay? You don't have to be like, all right, I got to go to the theater, I got to spend $20 to watch this 3-hour masterpiece, and then I got to talk about it with everyone. An underrated banger, you put it on, and it feels like it's just happening to you. And it's like, it's good. So, what was I going to say about that? I was going to say that, because it doesn't ask for that much, not just in the watching, but in the making, I believe that there are far more underrated bangers than there are, like, tentpole releases. Like, for every, Furiosa or whatever movie you happen to like, that's a big deal. But for every one of those, I would say there's like 10 underrated bangers. And there's a bunch that I have on my list. So if you like this, feel free to